what's unique about Muay Thai, and this may sound funny, is, and this could be argued, but it's just something I've noticed over the years. Like you can put on boxing gloves and you can punch a punching bag, and it's very gratifying, and you'll relieve some stress and whatnot. But when you elbow smash something, or you knee something, or you kick something, it's a different way of stress release. It's an alternative way to relieve stress. Swadee Cup. My name is Crew Mark Delagrati. Crew is a Thai term referred to as teacher. I was inherited this name through my instructor, my teacher, Dr. Yodtong Senanan. And my mission statement in life is to preserve and promote Muay Thai and Thai culture through the martial arts and teachings. How I got to Thailand was a funny story, because I had been trained in traditional martial arts, Kali, Silat, Jeet Kune Do, the art and philosophy of Bruce Lee. I had studied with an extremely talented, probably the most, if not still to this day, the most qualified martial artist, Guru Gai Chase. He introduced me to Thai boxing initially. So I had already been studying these combative martial arts: stick fighting, knife fighting, trapping, hand trapping, Filipino martial arts, Indonesian martial arts. So I had been running a school under his tutelage called Multiculture. And it was right here in the basement at 100 Broadway, Somerville, which is formerly known today as Yodtong, but originally was Multiculture Combative Martial Arts. So my quest for Thai boxing and to become a competitive and perhaps a professional fighter kept growing, and a gentleman by the name of Tom Woods came in to learn Kali and Silat and Jeet Kune Do, because he heard that I had studied from some prevalent sources. Tom Woods became friends. We became friends immediately, and I said, "What do you do?" Anytime that somebody comes into my martial arts school, or I'm introduced and we talk shop, so to say, I always say, like, "What do you do? Like, how can we learn from each other?" And he said, "Well, I go to Thailand." I said, "I always wanted to go to Thailand." He said, "I'm going in a month. You want to go?" And I didn't know this guy from a hole in the wall. And I said, "You're going to Thailand in a month? Do you ever take anybody?" He's like, "Yeah, you can come if you want." And before you know it, I was hanging out with this kid, Tom Woods, every day, learning about Thai culture, going to eat at local Thai restaurants in Alston and Brighton, that at the time, in the late 90s, 98, 97, 98, I didn't even know there was a Thai community here. So I got on a plane with somebody that I really didn't know and trusted, because I was so hungry to learn. And I got off that plane, and it was 2 a.m. and it was the smell of Bangkok, and I couldn't read a single road sign. And the heat wave hit me, and it was a bit of culture shock, but something made me feel really warm and fuzzy inside, like this is the right thing to do. And that was my first experience landing in the soil in the Kingdom of Thailand. So the first night in Bangkok, that one night in Bangkok, when I was with Tom Woods, he said, "We got to go to Lumpini Stadium." I said, "Lumpini Stadium? Like the famous Lumpini Stadium?" "Yeah, they have fights on this night and that night. We're going to go." And, you know, Kriyotong's usually there. Maybe we'll run into him. And sure enough, ringside, running the whole show, gambling, helping people out, getting treated like the king himself was Kriyotong. And I met him that first night, the very first night in Thailand, at Lumpini Stadium in Bangkok. So Kriyotong was responsible not only for globalizing Thai boxing as a sport, but really showing the great respect and admiration that he had, and that he wanted all people throughout the world to have, was for Thai culture, the Thai people, the heritage. They had a quote that they used to say with his longtime friend and promoter, Songchai Ratunasuban, which is the most famous promoter that Kriyotong worked with to globalize Muay Thai, bringing French fighters in to fight Thais, bringing Dutch fighters, bringing Thai fighters to Australia. And their promotion had a saying that said, "Maradok Thai, Maradok Lok." That means Muay Thai is of Thai heritage, but it's truly of world heritage. And that was the message that Kriyotong had, to globalize Muay Thai and to show the rest of the world that it wasn't just a cool sport, but Thailand and Thai people have a beautiful culture. The way Kriyotong treated Every and anybody that he came in contact with that had a passion for Muay Thai was an instant love and connection. A brotherhood almost, a fatherhood almost, like he took you in. It was a man that was genuine. And I saw the way he was treated, and I saw the way the people, all the way from army generals, ringside officials, to the common layman, the common person gambling in the crowd, he treated them all the same, and they all treated him the same. And he had produced more champions at the time than any other camp in the kingdom. He always used to say, that fighter, oh, good eyes, nice eyes. And I used to be like, Thailand's a weird place. But he was saying his eyes, he sees everything. His IQ, his fight IQ, he sees everything coming. His mind is his powerful tool. And the Thais use this term, Muay Chalat or Muay Phimur, which means to intelligent approach, intelligent strategy, style of combat, which is what Yodtong and what Yodtong has become known for. I only took fights, you know, here and there to better myself, so that I wasn't going to be the coach that was saying, you know, you're fine, you know, you got cut, you're an elbow, and meanwhile he's really in a bad place. And I'm like, you're fine, you know, don't worry about it. I've been there before. Listen, I'm going to clean you up. You got to go back out. You got to. I don't want to give coaching advice or give guidance unless I've actually had the life experience to do so. Otherwise, I'm really not credible in that situation. So I wanted to put myself in a situation where I needed credibility and I needed assurance that I knew I was qualified. So I took the little fights that I had to gain experience. Having Yodtong even be part of training camps that I had, even to come over and to give me advice and to be ringside that night and to be yelling, win, lose, or draw, it really was never making Yodtong happier if I won, or, you know, happier or not as happy if I lost. It was to see me grow. He felt the same way. And I think everybody that he helped touch or he coached or had a role in, I think that's what he always took away more than anything. And I've learned that from him, is that win, lose, or draw, it's about the experience and it's about growing.
Funeral of Kru Yodtong Senanan. The cremation ceremony took place in the afternoon of Sunday the 17th of February at Nong Pru Temple for Kru Yodtong Senanan, the well-known boxing trainer and owner of Sit Yodtong Boxing Camp, who died on the 8th of February. Local government politicians, dignitaries, business people and well-known boxers paid their final respects to the man who promoted Muay Thai boxing to the world.
The passing of Yodtong was shocking to us all because it did happen pretty fast. I actually was scheduled to go to visit him before he passed, and his son, Kru Toi, actually told me, like, my father's, like, you know, he turned for the worst. You know, that's a big trip. You know, we spoke about you. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I told him you were going to come. And I said, you know, and he always said to Kru Toi, his son, he said, make sure, you know, and I get emotional. I said, but he said, make sure you know how proud I am of Mark and what he's done for Thai boxing and the Sit Yodtong camp. So unfortunately, I was unable to visit him prior to his passing, but I was told that he was proud. Sorry. The message that Yodtong always had was positivity, especially when it came to raising the next generation. Yodtong had a very soft spot for youth and for the Thai community. He even went as far as to win 2 lotteries for some mega money and gave just about all of it away, both times, to local villagers, to his trainers. So that's a unique man. That's a man with a very, very soft spot in his heart for Thai culture and Thai community. And that's why he received the credit and the recognition from the kingdom. You know, something overcame me, and it wasn't fear or sadness, it was responsibility. Like, I felt like I was responsible now to do, you know, what he did. And, you know, the legacy that he left me was a lot of weight for me and his son and Walter Michalowski, the Yodtong guy in LA, and Peter Pinto, the Vegas rep. There's only a few of us that really carry on that legacy of Yodtong in the hardcore way that we do it. So as much as I was saddened, I felt honored, and I felt this overwhelming sense of need to be responsible for passing the torch.
You go to any MMA fight ever, and you'll hear people in the stands. As soon as the fight hits the ground and they start grappling, like there's some dude that's had like 5 Bud Lights, and he's like, "Yo, stand up, like kick him in the head, like da da da." I'm like, all right, well, if you want them to stand up and kick each other in the head the whole time, go watch a Muay Thai fight. You know, that's what we do. It's just, we stand up, we punch, we elbow, we knee, we kick each other. You know, that's it. It goes to the ground, ref stands it up. Muay Thai is scored, is fought a lot different than any other combat sport. It has its own rhythm. It's got its own beauty about it. You know, it's like it's scored off of like how balanced and composed you are, and how much your shots have an effect on the other person, and there's just a lot of different things that make it very unique.
In southpaw stance, a wide one here on Baraza Pollard. Karate stance for the karateka, Goju Karate background.
Yeah, my mom started me training when I was maybe 6 or 7 years old. At Dragon Horse Dojo. It's still in operation, still the same teacher, right downtown Plymouth. It was a very like traditional, very strict school. It wasn't like some of these karate schools or taekwondo schools where the little kids are running around and talking and stuff like that. If you were messing around, you're doing push-ups. That's actually where I got the nickname The Surgeon, from my karate teacher, from how I used to like study all my opponents before I went against them, and then went in there and knew what each of them were gonna do, then just kind of dissect them one by one. So yeah, I had that nickname since way back then. But yeah, so then you get a little older and you kind of go away from karate a little bit. You start hanging with your friends. I was playing basketball, but then when like high school was nearing its end, you realize you're 5'11", you're not going to the NBA. And the UFC was getting really popular. So MMA was the big up and coming thing. And I was watching, I'm like, I was always really good at karate. I still got my bag downstairs. I still kick it once in a while and everything like that. And I was like, I could do that maybe. I think I could get back into martial arts. So there was a gym in Plymouth that had just opened not too long. Actually, I think it had just opened pretty much maybe my senior year of high school or something like that. So the year after I graduated, me and one of my boys, we popped up and we did the Muay Thai class, and I never stopped.
Landed the first leg kick, but now Pat's making him pay. Big kick to the head.
Round and pound, tell everybody how the kick set everything up, how you landed those kicks. See Yodtong, baby, see Yodtong.
That was under Pat Schultz and Mike Gresh, who were both fighting locally at the time, 2 New England legends. Like those are like my brothers slash uncles slash homeboys, you know, love those guys. These guys were the ones that started me with Muay Thai and started like changing the way I did things from my karate background into more of like a Muay Thai style.
He's hurt. Gassed and hurt. Nice job to use his foot to block that kick.
Maraza Pollard not overextending, not rushing, still picking the targets. Uppercut land. Beautiful roundhouse kick. Now's on spin. It's good night, Irene. Chip Maraza Pollard, second round knockout. How do you do?
Beautiful performance by Pollard. Very composed. Looking for his openings, making his openings.
I had an up and down MMA career. I was always more of a striker, but everybody used to want to take me down. And I was still a young kid. Like I was only, I don't know, maybe like 20 years old when I had my first pro fight. So just kind of figuring it out and everything like that, getting comfortable. It takes a long time to get comfortable in the ring or the cage. But so I had losses, I had wins. I ended up racking up like 20 professional MMA fights.
The kick stung him. The combinations are breaking him down. Lauzon in trouble here. Beautiful tie clinch in the high knees.
That's Delagrati stuff right there. Good job with the elbows and knees inside.
So CCFA was like a sister school, pretty much like an affiliate. So it was down here in Plymouth. Obviously, Yodtong is up in Somerville. I remember Pat was getting ready for a fight, and at the time Christian Moorcraft was training with us too, and he was getting ready for, I think he was fighting in the UFC at that point. And they were both getting ready for upcoming fights. And they were going to go up to Yodtong on Monday night for sparring. And I was like, all right, I'm coming too. Because at that point, I'd gotten good enough that I felt like I could go up there and hang a little bit. And I was all nervous and everything. So that was the first time I went to sit with those two guys. And back then, it was all the killers. It was all those guys. And I was just the young kid. And they were probably like, oh, another little CCFA kid, all right, like the little distant cousin or whatever. After a while, I'd be up there every Monday. And to this day, I'm still pretty much up there every single Monday getting my sparring in.
It looked like he was going to go for side control and then just steps over to Secor and the mount once again.
Yeah, he really made that move look easy. And those are the chest slams his corner's been calling for this whole fight.
Roundhouse kick off the back leg, jab from Maraza Pollard, evades the leg kick. Slips the jab of Freitas.
Loads up. Going for a takedown. Check it out.
Single leg from Freitas. Said he wouldn't go to the ground with Maraza Pollard. We actually accused him of lying to us, Pat, twice yesterday.
Yes, I did.
And we've proven him to be a liar. He's got to the ground in the first round.
Yeah, his coach even came back in.
His coach came back into the room and said he's definitely going to stand and trade and knock him out on the feet. We are not going to go to ground, Pat, we promise. And what was it, 2 minutes into this fight? In the ground they go.
Yep.
We know your sneaky ways.
As the latter part of my MMA career, I wanted to make the switch to just straight up kickboxing or straight up Muay Thai, because I was fed up with everybody just trying to wrestle me down to the ground. I wanted to fight somewhere where I knew the other person had to stand up with me, because then I knew I could just really let my skills shine and kind of just do my thing without even having to worry about sprawling or defending takedowns and all that kind of stuff. Luckily, I got a fight on a kickboxing show, and I won that TKO by leg kicks, and I forget if it was the first or second round. And after that, I got a chance with Line Fight, and I don't think they were expecting me to win that fight. I came in to fight against an absolutely fantastic Muay Thai fighter, Brett Havlicek, and yeah, so they just thought I was some little MMA guy, which generally speaking, MMA guys aren't going to do that well in real Muay Thai competition, but they didn't know like who I was, I guess, and I got the win by decision. And I just haven't stopped since.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Plymouth, Massachusetts, here is Chip the Surgeon Maraza Pollard.
The surgeon for Chip Maraza Pollard, because everything he has thrown in his Muay Thai career so far has been with surgical precision.
He didn't even see it coming. Yeah, clipped him right in the neck and the jaw. That'll jolt your brain a little bit.
I like to analyze and dissect people, but you can't see everything. Sometimes it takes somebody watching from like an outside perspective to see that, like, oh, hey, you're doing this and he's dropping his arm a little bit like that, you know, like how just having that little voice in your ear, you know, like a little earpiece, like, okay, check, got it, like boom, and then like kind of do that because maybe I didn't see that myself. I also have Crew Massey in my corner. If Crew Mark is available, then he'll be in the corner too. And it's awesome because like I mean, me and Massey, we put in all this work like night after night, like rounds after round after round after round after round of pads and everything, and he knows the game very well. Obviously, Crew Delagrati, like he has such wisdom and everything like that about Muay Thai and just about fighting in general, that like he can see things usually like in a fight.
That's behind, so he's going to definitely keep your right hand up. This is what he's doing, Chip. They'll solve your problem when others don't know how. Watch out for that. That's his only chance. And let me tell you something. High pressure throw the fucking kitchen sink at you now. Be ready. All right?
That's a good shot right there. Nice form.
He has the Yodtong style, and I don't just mean the style that we taught him in terms of physical techniques. It means the mental approach, as I discussed earlier, Muay Chalat, Muay Femur, the intelligent side. I don't need to try to bang my head off the wall before I realize there's a door 6 inches to my left. Move to your left, enter the doorway. Like Chip problem solves fast. You know, he handles pressure well. He's not arrogant. He's not cocky. He's not money driven. You know, he's a martial artist and he respects the martial arts first and foremost. And the thing that really sets him aside is that he really does it because he's so passionate to do it.
If you're gonna be a Muay Thai fighter, you gotta do it like for the love of the game, really. Like you're not gonna be a Muay Thai fighter and expect to make Floyd Mayweather money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not expecting to be a multi-millionaire doing Muay Thai, but I mean that's fine. Like I could go be a boxer. I could have went and been a boxer and tried making that money, but I don't want to. I want to be a Muay Thai fighter. I want to be a Nak Muay. There's not too many people around that teach like the real Muay Thai, you know? That's pretty much the long and short of it. So it's like if I can make people like aware of like what Lumpini Stadium is or you know what I'm saying, like how to say elbow in Thai and like how to move and how to like actually look like a Thai boxer and give them a love of Muay Thai, then I mean I feel like I'm helping the sport grow. My longest running guy is Josh Showbiz Hagloff, and when he first came, he came to me at CCFA. He was doing the class, and he had never thrown a punch or a kick before in his life, and I taught him pretty much from the ground up. Like I taught him how to jump rope. He didn't know how to jump rope, anything.
I mean, as far as like a teacher goes too, he's super technical. So like I have to learn everything like very, very step by step. And I've gone to a lot of different gyms, seen a lot of different coaches, the way they teach and stuff like that. And that's very unique to Chip.
Now it's like that next thing. It's like I brought him to Yodtong. And now he's like one of the regular guys there that I'll look over and somebody's flying through the air because they just got swept and Josh is standing there like, oh yeah, Josh just sent that dude flying.
I've seen a lot of people, you know, come up from nothing to become somebody and world champions. And there's always a proving ground right there in the middle where you don't know where this kid or this girl's gonna go. And you're like, man, you're getting a lot of attention, man. He's the man right now. What's he gonna do with this new clout? He's perked up. What's up? What's he gonna do? Chip never, ever, ever entertained anything other than being passionate for Muay Thai, being a martial artist, and being respectful to his camp, his friends, his family, and his team.
เป็น